Hey, it's the 26th. That doesn't matter. What's more important is that it's Tech Talk Tuesday. Welcome to another exciting edition. I always love catching Neil off guard. He never knows how that's going to go. Neil, how you doing today, buddy?
I am great. How are you doing today, Matt?
Good. You're living your best life.
That's right. Always living that work from home life.
Living that tech talk life.
Yeah, living in this office life.
Yeah, it feels like almost like you live there.
And, yeah, it really does.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. We have several stories, so let's go ahead and just hop right in. And the first one has to do with a warning from Google.
That's right. A little company named Google has come out with a warning about a new social engineering method. If you're not familiar with what social engineering is, it is when a hacker tries to use means that aren't like programming to get access to your machine, essentially. So this can be like emails, like phishing, which is its own kind of thing, or it could just be like, hey, I'm this person, like, trust me, which is effectively what these things come down to. So obviously, the United States government has had a problem with being hacked recently. And so, so apparently there are a group out of North Korea that are targeting security researchers in particular to try and get their hands on like unpublished exploits, effectively is what it is. And so Google has found this because they're being targeted as well. And so this is really interesting. What they're trying to do is they're basically saying like, hey, we want to collaborate on this like issue. Like, we're doing research, you're doing research, like, let's talk about it. And then they're sending over like files of some sort after they've gained trust. And then people are opening up these malicious files, which then gives the hackers access to these machines, which then probably have these exploits that people are working on, patching and things like that. So it's very interesting. I think what's interesting here is the people that they're targeting is like very important. And that's what's like novel about it, is the approach that they're taking is actually like socially engineering people in the security field to then get ahead of what they're doing, essentially. So this is really interesting. I'm kind of surprised that this is the first time we're hearing about this kind of approach. I'm sure that it happens, but the fact that this is like novel in some way is like very, very interesting to me. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we're just now hearing about it, but at the same time, I think if that's your job and you get tricked via the job that you're doing, that's probably not going to be something you go out and tell everybody about. So I equate it to probably companies that, pay hush money, to get to ransomware, to open up files and things like that too. So that's a speculation, but I would guess that that's why we don't hear about this a lot. But maybe it's just a crescendo, I think, of attacks that has kind of let this leak out into the public a little bit.
Yeah, and so they're using platforms, like, it's not just one platform that they're targeting, like they're targeting several platforms, such as like Telegram, LinkedIn, and Discord. So like very common business type communication channels and platforms that they're using here. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. If you're in the field and you're falling for stuff like this, like, there's a bigger problem. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is really interesting, particularly given that the government has been hacked recently, and we still don't really know the depths of that. I'm sure someone does, but we don't. So I think this is really interesting, that we're still finding new ways that people are trying to do this. And obviously hackers are smart, and they're going to continue to be one step ahead of whatever we can hopefully try and slow them down with.
Well, the opposite of really getting ahead is when you stick your size Microsoft foot in your mouth. And that's exactly what Microsoft did with its Xbox Live Gold price. If you hadn't seen this, they literally announced to no fanfare. In fact, I think it was a Shrek-style village, I don't know, group that, what is it, like the storming, coming after them with pitchforks and torches. But they were going to double the price, right? So you and I both are on Xbox Live. And I don't know if you've found a sneaky. Sometimes you can find deals and stuff like that. But I get stuck with the $60 a year, and I'm fine with that. Like that's not bad. It's easy to justify that, especially spread across 12 months. But $120 just all of a sudden to make a big jump. Well, Microsoft says, "Oops, our bad." And in a full statement, they literally say, "Hey, we messed up, and thanks for calling us on it." Not that there was probably much of a choice. I really don't think that they had any real choice but to back out of this. So the article itself is great, courtesy of The Verge, like talking about really how the Switch and PlayStation, right, currently allow free-to-play games like Fortnite, let's just say, over their network and stuff like that without the need for a subscription. I think that's pretty cool. It's never been like that for Xbox, right? And so not only have they kind of rescinded this doubling of price, but now they're saying, and yeah, that's probably something we should look at. So we're going to do that. When and you know what the timing looks like and how well it'll be done, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But the good news, Neil, you can keep on paying whatever you're paying.
That's right. Yeah, so this is really interesting. I was following a lot of like the gaming news on this, and a lot of different opinions came in. One that I found a lot was that they're trying to make it so Game Pass, like this equals Game Pass essentially. So if you get the ultimate version of Game Pass, you get like your gold membership with it. And so if you do the math on that, 120, and I can't remember exactly what it is not that much less than Game Pass Ultimate, right? So it's kind of it's kind of a way 0 times 2 is still 0. So this is really this was met with a bunch of outcry for people that don't want to do Game Pass, which if you haven't checked out Game Pass is actually a great freaking deal.
Yeah, it's good value.
Probably the best deal in gaming right now. I've heard several people say that, but yeah, it's a really, really good deal. But people don't want Game Pass. They want to pay their $60. I did not think that Microsoft was going to back down. To be honest, when they first came out with it, I was like, they're going to say, suck it up. But I think that they were afraid that it was going to hinder the Series X sales, and people are going to go to PlayStation 5.
Absolutely.
And so I think that if this was timed better, they probably could have gotten away with it. I think if this is a year or two, like a year and a half down the line, we're looking at this and we're saying, well, shoot, I've already bought a Series X. I'm kind of stuck, right? But since they did it so close to the Series X release, like they're still relying on those console sales to at least they're always losing money on consoles, but like they don't want to lose more money on it. So this is really interesting. I personally am happy that they backed down from it because I do just have the gold membership. I don't do Game Pass. That's partially because I just have a gold membership already. So there's no point in me getting Game Pass yet, but I'll certainly be looking at it whenever my membership is kind of coming up on renewal to see like, hey, does it actually make sense? What do I get with this? Like, are there games on here that I would play that I wouldn't normally buy? Things like that. So I would definitely recommend checking out Game Pass. It is a great deal. You get access to a lot of stuff for not a whole lot of money. But yeah, for me, I'm going to stick with my $60 every year and keep shooting those aliens.
Got to shoot the aliens, be part of the union, be part of our alliance. Oh, that's funny. speaking of union alliances,
Man, look at that segue. Goodness gracious. So this is really interesting. We talked a couple weeks, was it a couple weeks ago, I think, about the workers at Google in the United States actually unionizing. So what is happening now is that it's happening globally. So there's a new coalition called Alpha Global that has 13 different unions representing workers in 10 different countries are coming together and basically saying like, yep, we're all going to work together and try and help each other. This is, I want to stress that this is like a minority union, particularly in the United States. And so what that means is that Google doesn't necessarily have to play ball. So like no agreement has actually been made between the two sides to say like, hey, we actually have to like respect your wishes and things like that. So like, I want to stress that that's the like playing field right now. Like Google still has a lot of power in this, or rather Alphabet, because it is Alphabet, which is Google's parent company. But yeah, so this is really interesting because we are starting to see it happen across multiple regions now. And so this is really good because it'll put more weight behind the movement, and not just for Alphabet employees and Google, which is important, but also for the rest of the tech industry, right? So like you almost need you need that first domino to fall, and it really helps that first domino is a heavy domino, and one of the tech giants in Alphabet and Google would be huge in making this whole movement of unionization in tech happen. I think I've stated that I think this is a good thing. I think I stated that last time. I want to restate that I think that this is a really good thing for the industry. I think it'll keep companies honest. And I think that even if I've never joined a union in our industry, I still think that this is a really positive thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%. But I think, again, whenever companies show themselves to be less than on the up and up, and I think, candidly, I think, Google has unfortunately, and Alphabet as a whole has shown itself to, make some kind of nasty moves, and definitely, I guess, in lieu of really kind of their original stated mission. And so, yeah, what are you going to do, right? And so this is a great, I think, opportunity for people to, I don't know, shield up a little bit, and hopefully this will turn into something bigger, and protect people's rights, and protect people from getting steamrolled by the dollar, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's that one. I left that up the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want people to see my face.
Yeah, keep it.
You know what? I'm already like nervous about it, so I'm just going to go back here. No, I can't do that. Don't worry, it's going to shrink again because the FTC just fined 3 ticket scalping companies for illegally using bots. This is the thing that you knew was happening. You knew it was happening. You saw like, you get on like ticketsforyourmom.com. Like, there's always these weird websites. They're like, where'd all the tickets go? Like, how did they possibly go? And then they show up, for like thousands of dollars. And you think, man, that's crazy. How are they able to do that so quick? I guess, man, a lot of people just bought these to turn around and sell them. Wrong. Botted. So everybody kind of suspected that this was happening. And it turns out, yeah, it was. Now, right now, they're really only addressing 3 of the companies who are doing this, but let's be super real. This is widespread. And so it's interesting. Actually, what happened was there's a law that came out in 2016. Most people didn't even talk about it, right? They said it was like an anti-botting law that that got stuck in my throat. What an awful law. Okay, it was a good law. It was the FTC that basically said, hey, we understand that you can be affecting the currency for used around these tickets and stuff. This is a major no-no, and we will come after you. Well, they never have. So this is like a landmark case for that. But something to the tune of $31.6 million in fines. That sounds pretty hefty. However, these companies don't have $31.6 million. It turns around, in their coffers to turn around and actually pay up. So really, they're collectively going to be paying about $3.5 million. I'm going to run some math on that real quick. Yeah, that's like a tenth of, I think, what was supposed to be paid out. So, $1 million in Matt and Neil world, that's a huge deal. But, when you're talking about this and kind of the commerce around, these sales for tickets, it's really not. It's a drop in the bucket, right? So I think this is interesting. Will this scare off other companies from doing this? And these three in particular have had to agree to basically be monitored and provide evidence that they're not doing this again. But I don't know how you crack down on this, man. And botting's been around for a really long time. I mean, I don't know. What do you do about this?
I'm not quite sure. I don't know how you prevent it, I think is the biggest part. I think a lot of it's reactive, which kind of sucks for the consumer, which is you and I. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It really does kind of stink. I'm not super happy that they've suspended a lot of this stuff because they did end up reselling these tickets for an estimated 26 million. Right. So it's like, okay, well, where's all the money? I'm sorry.
You're suspicious.
Right. And that can't be the only thing that they're making money off of and things like that. Right. So it just kind of feels a little to me. Like I'm happy that it's happening. I'm happy that they're catching people. I'm happy that they're punishing people for doing things that are against the law, but
there's no teeth.
It's kind of like halfway getting there for me, I think.
Yeah, not with you. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of teeth in this. Again, when you're getting off for a couple $1 million, and that's collectively, right, across all three of those groups. So that's not just one company really that's getting hit with that. Yeah, this very much feels like a slap on the wrist. So I don't think we've seen the last of this stuff. I don't know. It's going to take something with, I think, more teeth to take things down, much like it has with the spam industry. Oh, wait, we still get a lot of spam, right? So I think there's still going to be players. They're going to pop up. It's a game of whack-a-mole. But you could try to collect, I guess, on some of the ones that are, the moles that are popping a little too frequently, maybe to the top.
Yeah. I think that you said it all there. So, but yeah, so that's all we have for this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. If you want to read up on any of the articles that Matt and I talked about today, you can find them in the description below. And while you're there, how about you go ahead and give us a follow? That way you don't miss any future editions of Tech Talk Tuesday. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you, oh, wow. Yes, every Tuesday, everyone. If you want to have us, or if you want to join us live, participate in the chat, you can find us here. And so, yeah. If you want to ask Matt and I any questions or you want them answered on air, you can hit us up on Twitter. Matt's Twitter handle is the Matt Ray. Like I've said, there is only one, so he is the Matt Ray, and mine is at Neil Tardy. So if you want to hit either one of us up, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have, either online or offline. Well, yeah, Matt probably not so much, but me, I will answer your questions the best I can. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday.